At Rogers Arena in Vancouver tonight, the Canucks defeat Calgary 5-2. There are not a lot of players in the NHL from Denmark. The Canucks have arguably one of the best, so we're pleased to be joined on After Hours by Jannik Hansen. You really have beaten long odds to get here, and we're going to talk about your road to the NHL in a moment. But let's start with a tweet from G West. Jannik was drafted 287th overall in the 9th round in 2004. How does it feel to be the greatest Dane since Hamlet?
I don't know if I'd put it like that. Obviously, coming out of Denmark, hockey's not very big, so we're trying to make an impression and obviously paving the way for the younger generations.
Just so we're clear here, Hamlet was the Prince of Denmark in Shakespeare's play. I'd like to say that I knew that before, but I looked it up on Wikipedia as soon as I got the tweet. Kelly.
Well, how big a deal was it for you to get drafted, even though it was in the 9th round?
Obviously.
And we have hundreds of them. Are expecting your reaction to something Corey Schneider did to entertain us on After Hours a couple of years back.
A little bit of Jannik Hansen.
Keep going. That's pretty good. Keep going.
I don't know how happy I'd be I'm doing this, but all the boys love it. They think it's hilarious, so I do it every now and then, especially Coach B.
What are you going to sound like?
No, he does a tremendous impression. I think he's got half a dozen guys down and everything. He's doing a really good job. He's got a lot of time to work on it, so he's perfected them.
I got back about 50 tweets today, all asking this, and so we'll let Brown to Bury is the handle. Take that, Corey. Well done. Look, let's get serious for a moment. You're playing the best hockey of your career with the Canucks and maybe still riding that emotional high of March the 3rd. Tell us the story of how everything fell into place that night for you and your wife, Karen.
Yeah, we're supposed to fly to Calgary after our LA game, and for some reason, for the first time, I think in my time over here, a plane gets grounded because of bad weather. So we get an extra night at home, and as I walk through the door, my wife is nothing's happened yet, but she's kind of slowly getting feelings that she hadn't had previous, and I'm making my sandwich and slowly getting ready to have a little late night snack, and her water breaks and off to the hospital. So it was very fortunate that our plane got grounded at that point, and again I was able to be there.
Wow. So if not for that snowstorm in Calgary, you might have missed the miracle of birth.
For sure I would have. I mean, we went in and it was fairly quick. I would have had no chance of making it back in time.
Cool. Twin boys.
How'd you play after that? Because I have 3 daughters, and for whatever reason, the first game back after that, I played really, really well. There's so much adrenaline going through me.
Yeah, again, it was obviously playing.
Well, this is what allowed you to stay in Vancouver for the night. Now here you are on the ice that night, and it was a wonderful game for you.
Yeah, it was, like I said, you're playing on adrenaline. I think I had about half an hour of sleep that night, and
wow.
You're just kind of riding emotions. Fortunately enough, we have a couple of days after that, so I could get some sleep in. But again, it was a tremendous experience, and I'm grateful that I was able to be there.
Mm-hmm. You named the boys Daniel and Lucas. Once again, a tweet from G West. He must be a big fan of yours because he sent a bunch, and they're all good. Ask Jannik how mad Henrik was when he named his twins Daniel and Lucas.
Yeah, he keeps asking about Lucas. He's never referring to Daniel. I don't know if he's still got a little grudge there.
Well, how many questions are you getting about naming the other one Lucas and not Henrik?
Obviously, right off the bat, I got quite a few. It has nothing to do with them. Obviously, we like the name and we kind of picked it out long before. So it just happened to be a guy you're playing with. But again, it was the way we felt like we wanted to name them.
The babies arrived a little bit early. How are they doing?
They're doing great. They're putting on weight, and we can't wait to get them back home.
Well, I've got that same problem, putting on weight, but that's, I guess they're supposed to when they're newborns, but you seem like you have more confidence than ever. Do you feel it too?
This year's been a little bit different for me, and obviously the team with all the injuries we've had. We had a lot of guys jumping into different positions and playing out of their normal spots. And again, I've been able to the chance on not only the power play, but playing in a top 6 role, and it's been a great experience. And again, you're trying to develop yourself as a hockey player and not get locked into one role and trying to keep developing.
You were born in, and if we look at this in North America, phonetically it looks like R-O-D-O-V-R-E, so we would say Radovre. which is a suburb of Copenhagen. How do you say it in Danish?
Although
Not a chance. So I'll try not to mangle it the rest of the way, but your father, Bert, played for the Danish national team's carpenter by trade. So he got you on skates very, very early. Look at that. Fair to say, though, Jannik, as a boy, that the NHL was not on your radar screen?
No, it came.
Certainly not then.
It came later. I mean, when we grew up, we were looking up to the Swedish elite league, the German league. NHL was something we saw on paper once in a while, but again, it was the Swedish players, the Naslund, the Mats Sundins, and that generation. It wasn't until we got a little older that we kind of started getting a couple of games so we could see on TV, but before then it wasn't shown at all, so we really had no way of getting to know the game from over here.
You turned pro at the age of 16 with the, I'm going to say it, Rødovre Mighty Bulls of the Danish league. When I say pro, what's pro hockey in Denmark like?
Obviously, it's changed a lot lately. The economy hit the league hard. It was on an upwards curve. We were getting a lot of very good imports from good players from the American League and whatnot. But it's taking a little bit of a hit, and again, it's gone back to where now it's not really a pro league anymore. Guys will go to work and come back from work and go down to the dressing room and play a game. So it's a little harder these days. But again, the young guys are making the trips, if not overseas, then to Sweden or other big leagues and getting better competition.
Perfect. We'll take a break and come back with more from Jannik Hansen, sounding a lot like Corey Schneider tonight. Well, even better. We'll continue live from Rogers Arena in a moment. On the occasion of a Vancouver Canuck victory over the Calgary Flames, Jannik Hansen's our guest on After Hours. From Denmark to Portland to play for the Winterhawks, and it quickly became clear that pick number 287 was not a throwaway. Was Portland any sort of a culture shock for you?
A little bit. I mean, it's North America, coming from Denmark, where hockey wasn't that big at a time, and all of a sudden you play in front of 5,000, 7,000 on a nightly basis. I mean, it was as close to pro North American that I could get at that time, and then again, it gave me a great opportunity to prepare myself for what was to come. 2
years with the Manitoba Moose in Winnipeg. We tried this with Patrick Sharp of the Hawks earlier this season on After Hours, and he didn't get the answer, and it was very awkward. So Winnipeg gave you your greatest gift, which was
my wife.
Exactly. That is the correct answer. You were your wife, Karen. You were married in Winnipeg, and I guess the whole family had to troop over from Denmark, which is the way it should be because that's where it comes from Winnipeg. You live there in the off season, don't you?
Yes, we kind of set up shop there. I like the city. Like you said, I played there for a couple of years. Again, it's real convenient for me. Get a chance to work out with a lot of the guys that I've hung out with there, and again, it's a great place to train as well. Our strength guys there, Glenn Carnegie, and get to work with him in the summer, working a lot different than I would if I would have been back home.
Tweet from Curtis Hansen, or Housen, pardon me. What's your favorite spot in Winnipeg?
My favorite spot in Winnipeg? Yeah. We like the keg. It's nice and close.
There you go.
Steak and, it's not.
We're all about free plugs on this program.
Do you still go home in the summer though?
Yeah, we try to make it home for about a month every year. It's a long trip,
nice.
so when we do go, we try to make it a little longer. It's nice to get a chance to go back home and seeing everybody again. Obviously, there's a lot of people and a whole lot of time, so you're trying to fit it all in. But there's a lot of time for family and that stuff as well.
Jannik, here's a piece of video that begs the question, what were you thinking? It's the warm-up of a Canuck game, and Gene Simmons of Kiss fame is watching from the penalty box with his wife Shannon Tweed. And what do? Well, we'll let you explain.
Well, like I said, I'm a big fan of the guy. I mean, I watch his show, I like his music, and I kind of drift by the penalty box the first time, and I look over and I was like, I'm pretty sure I recognize that guy, and take another swing by and sure it's him. So run over to our bench and get a marker and hurry on back there so I can get a signed stick.
What did
So
the
he signed the
trainers-
stick and you used the stick during
Yeah,
the game.
I thought it would be good luck. I remember I came close once, and then I retired the stick.
What did the trainers say when you went to get a Sharpie from them?
They were all in. They like that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah?
I mean, it's a good laugh. I got a little bit of heat for it in the dressing room, but again, I got the memorabilia now.
Well, our thanks to Joey Kenward of Canuck TV for digging up that video for us. 5 times you have played for Denmark in the World Championships. Denmark played recently in an Olympic qualifying tournament, I think it was last month, and lost the Olympic spot to Slovenia. So does a great dream of yours remain on hold?
Yeah, of course, we would love to be able to play in Russia next year in the Olympic, but again, we weren't able to get the job done. We lost a tough game against Slovenia, and again, you got to be able to play good in a short tournament like that to qualify. And like I said, it's extremely frustrating not being able to help. Obviously, we were over here playing. Again, had we been back home, it would have been tremendous to be able to not only help but hopefully make it to the Olympic.
I think there's 7 Danish players in the NHL right now. If the lockout had continued for the duration of the season, you all could have played in the qualifying tournament. Conceivably, Denmark would be in the Olympics.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, the other teams have great NHLs as well, so they would have been able to participate as well. It's a tough question, but again, we would obviously like to have the chance to have a chance in our own hands.
Now, do you guys, you 7, do you go back and help out in summer camps and try and build the program from the ground roots
There's
level?
not a whole lot of hockey in the summer in Denmark. The ice comes off here in April, and it doesn't get put back on until August. I mean, it is really a winter sport in Denmark.
Wow.
So, like when we grew up, we would do something else in the summer. We would either play soccer or any other outdoor sport. So it's getting there, but again, I believe we have 18 rinks right now. So it's not like you can just play hockey if you grow up where you need to be in one of the cities where the rinks are.
Another tweet from G West. Do you and Alex Edler regret this?
Show you the money.
No, you can do me better than that. I got Bob Sugar on the other line. He's willing to do it.
I don't know where you find this stuff.
No, show me the money.
Oh, show me the money. Show me the money.
You gotta yell it out.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Oh boy.
You guys are naturals.
Yeah. That's from the Canucks Dice and Ice Night for charity. I think a couple of years ago, you and Edler had to reenact the Show Me the Money scene from the movie Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, obviously there was a little bit of hazing. I'm not sure that was allowed at that point, but again, we did it and we enjoyed it and we had a lot of fun with it.
Kevin Bieksa was one of the judges, and he said, "You were Scandinavian. I couldn't understand half of it."
No
Jannik,
comment.
thanks for coming on the program. Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Jannik.
Jannik Hansen, proud father and Vancouver Canuck, joined us on After Hours.